Testing 1 2 1 2. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let's welcome back. This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. Let's have some fun. Let's just make sure the audio works fine. All right, the audio looks perfectly fine because oftentimes we come live like that and then we find out that everything. and then we find out that the audio is not working good. We don't want that to happen today. This is a very, very important episode. We're gonna have a good time. Okay, I have a plethora of information to go through today. We're gonna be covering this, guys. We're gonna be talking about the Fresh and Fit. Let me just make sure that we have all of the information we need here. They had like a session that I felt like, you know what, we had to make sure that we come back and really review this, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons in it. Excuse me. Welcome, welcome. This is all our men of prestige. Welcome to all the men of prestige. Welcome to all the mothers of future men of prestige. I appreciate you for being here. I try to bring some voice of reasoning. I just try, to do that. We're going to be covering this today. Okay, we're going to be covering this today. And there's quite a few clips that I was able to, that I feel like we should talk about from this particular episode from the Fresh and Fit's, the Based Justice League, that I feel like we need to cover. Um, I have the utmost respect for this guy in terms of marketing, in terms of creating a massive platform. Over 500,000 people, young men, listen to this guys now. And listen, I can't front. They've created a great platform. And they've started a massive conversation that frankly needs or needed to be had, and we're having the conversation right now. That's all that matters, right? So I feel like if we're going to do any kind of justice to, or bring some kind of value to the situation, we still have to kind of make sure that we are respectful about it. As a matter of fact, I had a video review that I did about one of the situation from the past. I had to change the title. After watching this episode, I had to change the title just out of respect for the conversation, because I feel like if we don't have difference in opinions in the first place, what will be the point, right? Then they'll be left with just money as the only purpose of this conversation. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't mind making money along the way, but I want to be very clear that any money I make that I haven't really had it, or I don't feel feelings over facts in this situation, I don't feel like I've added value, I probably don't want that kind of money. And I have started different conversations in the past since 2009 that I've been on YouTube with different platforms. And there have been situations where I shut down a conversation because I felt like I wasn't adding value at all, right? So I prefer being in a situation where I am adding value, and that's how I like it. So with that being said, I think we're gonna get started. We got a few information to get through today. We're also going to respond to some of the comments that we're getting. I appreciate all of the comments. I don't care if you agree or disagree with me, or you're throwing shots, or you're throwing sign language. I appreciate all of the different comments. So please keep bringing it. I want all the smokes. I want the positive comments. I want all of it. So thank you so much. That's how we're going to move the conversation forward. Without any further ado, let's get started. And these are sizable books. They are minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free. By simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, so welcome back, welcome back. So the first thing I want to do today is I want to review some of the comments that we received since the last time we've been here. Again, I really appreciate everyone coming here to watch some of the videos we're doing. We are growing. We're growing very faster than I thought, to be honest with you. We have over 100, like right now we have over 150 videos on this platform. The first 100 videos, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and show you that. It's all about game, okay? It's all about game. So if you scroll down, if you're on the front page, let me just make sure you can see it. If you're on the front page, right, and you scroll into down here. Well, these are the uploads, but if you click on videos, right, and you can sort by date oldest, okay, you can see that we started just about 3 months ago, and a ton of the first 100 videos all about game, except this one with the sign language, with where I got roasted on the leader Tony platform. But everything else is all about game. It's all about game. It's not spitting at you. It's basically talking with you. And then I want to hear some of your comments from that as well, right? So that's the first 100 videos up there. But since then we started to have engaged conversations, and we're having comments, and I will continue to review some of the comments that we're having here, right? All right, so let's go through some of the comments, and then after that, then we have to kind of come back and talk about this. Let me just make sure that let's see here. Hi, Just Jay, what's going on? How are you, my sister? Good to see you. Right. Let me see. This is okay. Let's not worry about that. Let's look at some of the comments. Okay. Let's blow this up so we can see it a little bit clearly. Awesome. So this person says, this is Tina Davis. This was a video that I did with reviewing the issue between Naked Knight and the lead attorney, where I felt Dick Jackson should not have said anything. Funny enough, the video I did recently with Dick Jackson, I received lots of love. We'll talk about that in a second. So Dick Jackson is somebody that I respect in this space, and he's shown once again why a lot of people respect him, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But somebody said, I'm a woman and I'm tired of listening to women talk. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and there's laugh emojis. That's kind of interesting angle to come from. Listen, that won't be the first time I'm hearing women say they don't really enjoy the company of other women. They prefer having men friends. You know, that's a very, very common thing. As a matter of fact, most people that I know say that a lot. So maybe that's where that's coming from. Maybe they have laugh emojis. Maybe they're just cracking jokes. Who knows, right? We have Looney Coons. That's an interesting name. Says, what makes you think that, what makes you and think that it was done organically? Okay, you'll better WTFU. Is that what the fuck up? Is that what that means? I'm not sure. Shake my effing head. We're in the era of the internet and high tech. You can make anything look organic. Okay, maybe I said something that I felt like was organic, I guess. If you pay the right people, or if you get the right backing. As for he's talking about Dr. Duke Jackson, that's O'Shea. He rides the fence well and just wants to get paid so he can get laid. Well, that's an accusation. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm very good at picking up if somebody got paid to do stuff, and I doubt if this is one of those situations. Like he got paid just to speak in favor of one side. No. As a matter of fact, he released a recent video where he actually spoke against Africans that are trolling on this conversation. So, no, I think he's very fair with the way he assessed the situation between Tariq Nasheed and the African community, or the immigrants community, I should say. Anyway, this person says, Street TV say, y'all just mad because Tariq be telling the truth about y'all asses. That's an opinion. He has the right to be right. Thank you so much, Street TV. Okay, so there's a part in this video, Tariq Nasheed versus O'Shea, where I asked people if there are other HBCUs that still has medical school, medical faculty and stuff like that. So people actually saying Georgetown, that's one of them. So there's a couple of examples that came up later too. Smashable Tariqia Nasheed, 7 out of 10. Okay, that's they're talking about this picture. Oh yeah, somebody else also said I made this picture. I didn't make this picture up. This picture is out there. I can actually show you right now. If I Google Tariq Nasheed, that picture is out there. So I didn't make the picture. I just thought, he knows how to roast people. He could take a little joke as well. So, and I think he can. I've seen him can take some joke. See, that's the picture right there. It's out there. So I did that. I wouldn't make this picture. Just FYI, I wouldn't do that to another gentleman. I respect Tariq Nasheed. Funny enough, I respect him a lot. So, because of the movement that he's created, that's obviously creating this conversation in the first place. All right. So, but somebody is giving him a 7. Excuse me. Out of 10. All right, if you say so. Closing black Americans is a big. Not closing. I think this person means clowning. Clowning black Americans is a big mistake for Africans. Clowning and roasting is a part of our culture. If you see this video, just be aware. If you see this video, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. And if you think black Americans clowning and roasting is part of the culture, where do you think they got it from? Okay, maybe you should go find the session he had with Nigerians, and I think they did a fairly good job at roasting his ass. So, yeah, I think he got it from being an African in the first place. Anyway, I did a session reviewing, I did a live, then I also put out the video with reviewing the session that Jen from On the Block with Jen did assessing the manosphere, called the manosphere pseudo-masculine. And that video has gotten a lot of love as well. And we have the Pillow Talk with Sarah Bay, right? I think she's a content creator. Let me just make sure I'm subscribed. Let's see, yeah, she's a content creator, so I'm gonna check out what she got going on. I just subscribed. So she said, I appreciate your view on this. Okay, I think she was responding to somebody, actually. I'm not sure. I appreciate your view on this. Beyond the masculine and feminine typical character traits, I love having intelligent conversations regardless of the level of education, status, gender, occupation. Yes, and I understand this statement. When you hear people throwing the masculine, feminine thing all over the place, it can get a little bit annoying. So I get that. It can get tiring even for my own ears. But unfortunately, a lot of the dynamics that we create still have masculine, feminine energy in them. And I have to point them out because it's also a great way for me to understand what's going on, especially when it comes to the dynamics of intersexual relationships, right? And within the social construct that we find ourselves. We can learn from everyone. My issue is oftentimes we spend more time arguing. Yes, we do. Interrupting and yelling at each other instead of listening. Yes. This is the main issue, to be honest. Maybe I could reduce the masculine feminine dynamics thing too a little bit, but when I see it, I see it. Speaking of seeing it, let me just see here. Let's see. Yeah. When I see it and I observe it, it is what it is, and that's why I like playing this video.
Hey! Yo! Me, nigga! Help me! What's wrong with you, nigga? Come on! Where my glasses? Get off of me before I drop your goofy ass again. Now beat that, bitch ass nigga. Pay for this shit. Hurry up.
No,
Pay for that shit and hurry up before I drop your ass again. Touch me, get on the drop.
Stop video for they help me. You got my key.
Somebody help you.
No, come on.
All right, so there you have it. So, and having valuable exchange, I agree with you. We don't have to agree, but it shouldn't turn into a fight either. Respect is key. Now, any woman that have experience will tell you respect is key. Naturally, when a woman is coming into this life, what they want typically is love. But when women start having certain experience, that usually is lack of love from a man. Then they start to demand respect. That usually means something wrong has happened, a terrible experience has transpired for that woman. But generally speaking, if you keep me in context, especially, women crave love naturally, and they go back to that natural state when a man makes them feel comfortable, right? And or when they find themselves in the proper masculine, feminine dynamic or construct. And again, you see me go there again. It is what it is, right? So again, once we're talking about intersexual dynamic relationship, I have to bring it in because I think it's the best way to explain uh, the results you create as a man when you engage with a lady, or the results that you create as a woman when you engage with a man. Um, yeah, sorry, it's just what it is. But thank you so much, the Pillow Talk with Sarah Bay, and we have you Nigerians. Let me go into this. I'll go back. Let me just see. You Nigerians should accept. Okay, so I'm gonna be the representative of Nigerians in this space. It is what it is. I see a lot of dusty representations of Nigerians coming to surface recently. We're gonna address those as well, but I will do it respectfully. I promise. You Nigerians should accept that there isn't a single country in the world that wants you. Want you for precisely what? Okay, because our music, our hard work is everywhere right now. Go on Netflix, the most popular movies on there right now are Nigerian movies, Nollywood to be precise, Nigerian Afro beats is everywhere, right? But the same problem that we have as black people, we have those problems too. Leadership problems, not taking power, always asking for power, as opposed to doing everything in our power to leverage our strength, which is sport, entertainment, music, movies, right? To take over this, because if you have access to those things and you create those things, you actually have the power to control narratives. But again, we do it in exchange for money, and that's always going to be a problem, right? It's a bigger problem. We will continue to talk about that as well. But even Ghana banned you guys in 1994. That's actually opposite. I think 10 years prior to that, I think there was a movement called Ghana Must Go, where Nigerians banned Ghana. But again, it's neither here nor there. It's a black people problem all around the world. Okay, from coming into Ghana, and also European countries and China are complaining about you. Stop being ticks and burdens to other countries and go build Nigeria. Hey, Juniors, thank you so much for the advice. I can appreciate that. I'll take that back home to my people. Thank you so much. Somebody said Dusty. Tariq Nasheed getting in his emotion. I don't know what you mean by Dusty. Are you calling Tariq Nasheed Dusty or myself? If you're calling me Dusty, that's also fine. Thank you for the comment. Philip Bailey says, before you talk about Tariq, clean that dirty ass piano. All right, so I got a piano here that I don't use often. So how you could tell that it's dirty from over there without factoring the fact that you're looking at me from probably a dirty screen, I'm not too sure. But thank you so much for the comment. I appreciate that as well. But no, the piano is not dirty. It's perfectly clean. All right. So and then boom, boom, boom. 2 days ago, then I saw something. O'Shea Duke Jackson with a check right next to his name. It says, LOL, I'm listening to the whole thing. I like your points of contention. That wasn't the first comment, actually. The first comment was this, right here. It says, wow, hello, brother. Let me check this out. Now, I couldn't see the check at first. I was like, oh, no. Psych, this is not O'Shea. Let me click over first. A lot of time you see people comment. That's okay. I like it. I see people comment sometimes, and they have Donald Trump's name, or they have different, they have like different celebrities' name and stuff like that. Sometimes I just see that, and and boom, it was him. It's me. It's a check mark, and he came by and he actually watched it. Before he saw my response, he said, excellent information. And I don't know, maybe, basically I talked about the fact that he pushed as an African American, as a foundational Black American against Tariq Nasheed. I thought it was a well-balanced assessment of some of Tariq's move in recent times. Like I said, he's recorded a different video since then, addressing Africans that don't know how to stay in their lane, which I acknowledge from day one that is a thing. There's a lot of Africans running their mouth on issues that actually does not concern them. Things like reparation, I don't think is a immigrant African place to speak on it. I think it's not our place when people are fighting for their own rights in however way they deem fit. I don't think it's our place to go there and talk about it. So, but yes, he came by, dropped. I'm listening to the whole thing. I like your point of contention. So he actually came by and showed some love. So, and thank you so much to O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's had reputation around the streets to always support people. It doesn't matter if he's doing it for his own good. It doesn't matter. If you want to get anything out of life, you give value. I don't care what you're looking to get. A good relationship. You want to make money, right? You want a good health. You want to build wealth, right? Whatever it is you're looking for, happiness, it starts by giving value first. That's how it starts. There's no way around it. I'm sorry, okay? That's the same reason why I'm pushing a little bit against men and say, hey, stop crying and bitching about what you want. Show me where you've been giving value. After that, yes, God damn it, give more value. Yes. And if you feel like it's not being reciprocated, you really don't get to complain if you have the freedom to remove yourself still, because you can choose where you want to give love as well. You always retain, a lot of time when people are complaining in this YouTube street, you retain the agency, you retain the power to give attention where you want to give attention, right? So again, thanks to, so I did another video recently, which actually inspired me. I'm going to do more videos like this on trendy topics. This was a video. Let me see how many views that video has gotten since then. I did a video on Caleb Kennedy, a young man who seemingly looks like he may be throwing his life away. Let me see here. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. All right. Let's scroll back down there. Okay. I just want to see how many views that video has gotten. There you go. All right, so the video has 112 views. It's not bad for the average that this channel receives. So, and actually 24% suggested videos is really good. Got 1 subscriber from it. That's cool. So I may do more trendy videos like that. It was basically a trendy topic. He killed a person for under DUI, and I talked a little bit about that. But this person sounds like they may know a little bit about him, but at least they relate with him. He says, thank you for taking the higher road in regards to Caleb's situation. I believe he does have the ability to overcome this, but it will not be easy. Yes. And that's what I want to bring into this space, as opposed to judging people. I want to talk more about, what's possible after that, all the different angles of what's possible. Also the risk, the dangers that people find themselves. People fumble the bag. You see a lot of people fumble the bag because of the wrong moves, because of a little affection from women. In the manosphere space, what I found is that a lot of men that are complaining are people that just have unnecessary, unhealthy expectation levels from women, entitlement and expectation. These are Mr. Nice guys that have had their heart stomped upon. Because they, and it comes back to entitlement. Because you're a good guy, you think suddenly you don't need to learn game, right? As a matter of fact, there's another video that I will probably do very soon of a gentleman saying, like, game is stupid, there's no need to learn game. Like, what? No, social skills is necessary. I don't care how much of a community you're trying to build. You want to build this and that. If you don't have social skills, people are not going to hear your message. It's going to be a complete waste. Okay. All right. So I really appreciated that comment. I'll do more of it, right? Because again, it will help us with getting some more attention to this video, since they're trendy topics. All right. So South Shaolin Fist Kowloon. I don't know what that is. Has an interesting name. Correction. Tariq muted people that were being rude, talking over him. well, it's still an indication of lack of a level of patience. Okay, if you bring people into your space, and I think O'Shea Jackson talked about this, or maybe it was him or Charlemagne talked about this. When you bring people into the space and they hit on a link to come and talk to you, you have to exercise patience, right? And muting them. I actually see. I come from the school of Starr and Buckwhite, right? And I always enjoyed when he muted his co-host and stuff like that. It was just funny and entertaining, right? From that standpoint, I understand. But from a standpoint, so if it was just another moment of roast for him to roast people, that's fine. But I'm saying if you're just doing that because you lack patience, that's more on you. That's more of a problem that you personally have, and your conversation is not going to move further because you lack the patience to listen long enough. Yes, it takes a lot of patience. It's a lot of work to be patient when you feel like people are spewing nonsense and stuff that's obviously stupid, right? But that's part of the conversation. What am I doing right here? I'm having a conversation. I'm looking at the comments, and we're talking more about it because that's how you engage people and you have meaningful conversation as opposed to having an echo chamber where everyone believes in the same thing. So I beg to differ that he's muting people just for being rude. They are by default supposed to be rude. If they're gonna, I mean, Jay just said people are so rude. Yeah, people are rude. I give, that's a fact of life. But if I create a platform where people that's kind of public, I should expect that people that may have differing opinions will sometimes come off as rude. I should have that expectation. And if I don't, that's entitlement, and it's it's just wrong. So again, I may, if I start doing callings and stuff like that, and I bring people on and I mute them for fun, I will do it. I promise I will remind everyone I'm doing it for fun. But the idea that I'm catching emotions, and no, that's just what it is, right? So I guess another example of HBCUs with medical schools in them, Howard, Morehouse. Okay, I'm not too familiar with the HBCUs, by the way, so educate me if I come off a little bit. All right, so and somebody said on O'Shea Jackson's video, somebody said constructive conversation. Yeah, I thought so too. And then of course I had the Jen on the block with Jen came by and dropped a comment on the video or reaction that I did to their review of the manosphere. Is the manosphere pseudo-masculine? She said, excellent and fair review. And I did throw some shots at the ladies, especially Anna, her name, Annalicia. Yeah, Annalicia. I did throw some shots here and there, so I wasn't exactly just pushing against the guys, but also it was their platform. See, when I create a platform and you come on stage and you want to talk to me, I kind of expect a little bit better. I expect more of the responsibility of decorum to be on the guest in certain respects. There are certain times I should also be a good host, right? So, but the truth is that a lot of the men that went on that stage, majority of them, maybe one or two, with the exception of one or two, majority of them lack the ability to read a room. They were more so more focused on wanting to be right, the need to be right? And that's what you find in a lot of these spaces, and that's okay. That's what makes the conversation even more fun. But let's call a spade a spade. So she goes, excellent and fair review. That episode did indeed turn into a hot mess due to men claiming they didn't agree with manosphere ideology, joined us to defend themselves using manosphere ideology. Yeah, there were people that said, no, I'm not really into the manosphere thing, but then they were using the manosphere talking point. I don't know, for some reason, I don't think they realize that it's obvious when they're using the talking point. The most important thing about attempting to mansplain is a real problem. It's a real problem. Is reading the room. You have to read the room. Come on, fellas, you have to read the room. Okay? If your wife or girlfriend or little sister isn't your target audience, even if they were, you'll never get away with it. If you're talking with women, period, you will never get away with your inability to read the room. I'm finishing off the Rollo Tomassi book, The Rational Male, right now. And what I found is that is a fantastic book. And just a lot of men read it once and ran with what they thought they heard. and they haven't read it a few more times. I suggest that any man reading that book needs to read it a few times so you can get proper comprehension of what's in the book. I think the Rollo Tomassi's, he calls it, I forgot what he called it, Iron Rule. The Iron Rule number 9 talks about self-deprecation. Never self-deprecate. Self-deprecation is what you find when people start to admit to being at fault just because they've attached that to an expectation to get forgiveness fast. And what it does is it makes a woman even disrespect you more or lose respect for you even more. Another way of self-deprecating is when you enter a room and you don't read a room. It tells a lot. And if they lose respect for you, don't again, you attract what you attract. A feminine man will attract a masculine man. Whenever I use that, let's be clear about something, by the way. These are moments. They're not an absolute, right? So if I ever say a man is in his feminine, you will hear me say it that way. In a feminine energy, and not necessarily he's a feminine man. I will. If I've ever said that, I apologize in advance or into the past, okay? But there are feminine moments, okay? A feminine energy is a feminine energy. If you enter a room and you don't know how to read a room as a man, that's feminine energy. That's something you should expect from feminine energy. Feminine energy is neither right nor wrong. It just doesn't give a shit. It's like the ocean, okay? Everything moves according to the ocean energy. You have to learn how to navigate it and learn how to swim with the trend of an ocean and not the other way around. That's the feminine energy. It's not about right and wrong. It's about what it is. It is what it is. And if you move into a room without any kind of structure and you just more concerned about how you feel, that's feminine energy. You're not necessarily wrong, but you're going to attract a certain level of energy from whoever you're dealing with. And it's going to create a kind of dynamic. It's going to create this type of polarity. Whatever you get is what you get. You don't get to blame the world for that. Okay? I will continue to break that down. If your wife, let's see, if your wife or girlfriend or little sister isn't your target audience, you'll never get away with it. I've also never seen a mental, okay, there was a guy that claimed to be a mental health expert, right? Be so unstable and irrational. That was new for me. It was new for me too. So, I say, yay, glad you like it. Keep the foot on that neck. I've said that before, and I say that lightheadedly. Some people take an offense to that, but if you can't take a joke from that, that's really on you too, But anyway, that's where growth lies, right? When we put you under pressure, that's where growth lies. I see dumb, book smart professionals all the time: attorneys, accountants, psychoanalysts, millionaires, right? Wife or girlfriend or little sisters, they all shit test us too. They do. Even our own mothers. That's just the nature of the feminine energy. Passing this test. As a matter of fact, I want to say failing. I'm going to edit this right in front of you right now. Failing, because failing is a part of life, okay? All right, let me see if I can find that again. Where is it? Disappeared. Okay. Where is it? Okay, right there. Failing and passing this test. You're going to fail more often than not, but if you pass enough times, women just respect you, okay? They submit. They naturally want to submit, okay? So you don't have to pass all the time, but you got to pass enough times. You can't just be this person 100% of the time. You're like a shit test detector, and the next move you make is you fail the test anyway, right? Anyway, so it's part of what makes us men. And the masculine frame in those contexts, you bring the structure, the safety, and security. That's what the masculine frame does, right? So yes, let's see here. There was let me see. There was a response here. I don't know if the person deleted the response. There was a response to me. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, because that would be sad. That would be sad if the person deleted the response. Yeah, he deleted the response. Somebody deleted the response from here. I'm gonna find it. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it. It's probably in my email somewhere. Yeah. See, now that's cowardice move. But if you leave a comment, you have to leave a comment with your full chest. I prefer that you leave your comment with your full chest, please. Okay? Please leave your comment with your full chest. Wait, what time it is? Interesting. We have comments coming in even as we're here right now. All right, so it should say YouTube comment. I'm gonna just read it, all right? And they were interesting comments. That's why I wanted to make sure I read them. Let's see. Yep, found them. Let's see here. Okay, I found them. Yeah, I'm gonna read this comment. Nah, he's not gonna get away with it. Let's see. There you go. Found it. All right. So this was the comment from Shay XT. Shay XT. This was the comment right now. A person says, "Sounds like you're making excuses." Okay, that's one of the comments. There was an original one. I'm gonna see here if I can find it. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, because listen, if you're gonna leave comments, let's leave comments with our full chest, and more importantly, I think they're more so opportunity for lessons for us. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, this is a comment. Say, "LOL." That response shows. So this was a response to this comment right here, right? So after I left a response for Jen. Person said, "LOL, that response shows why Igbo folks usually say Yoruba men are stupid." So if you don't understand Igbo, Yoruba, these are basically tribes in Nigeria. The three main tribes in Nigeria is Igbo, Yoruba, and also I am a Yoruba man, right? So now this is a person that is also projecting and basically creating tribalistic views off of this comment already. So he's come back and deleted his comment. LOL, that response shows why Igbo folks usually say Yoruba men are stupid. Yes, a man passing a woman's shit test makes him a man. Just as much as you're bedazzled by pretty faces and cannot tell them they're behaving like wild animals. Okay, so the shaming, insults, guilt need to be right. We see in these spaces that men are also engaging this feminine energy. It's okay. Again, I don't know why he had to, because I don't delete comments. So, but I knew I saw it and I knew I would respond to it. And again, anything you want to say, bring the smoke. I appreciate the smoke. I don't really, but I gotta point out the lessons. Okay. Then another comment on that same video. Sounds like you're making excuses for women behaving. Like wild animals and expecting it to be condoned in a conversation purported to be balanced or civil. Okay. So again, once you compete with women, you deserve all the masculine energy you get from that. It is what it is, okay? Once you bring in feminine energy to interact with females that are naturally more in their natural essence, with the feminine energy, it is what it is. Okay. All right. Let's continue. If you think anything of this woman said in the heat of things were anything close to irrational, you need to have your head checked, mate. So I'm not sure. Is it close to irrational or close to rational? Okay. I'm not sure, Or just don't try to pretend to be logical. All right. So I'm trying to pretend to be logical, okay? So again, shame, insult. Then it goes Israel Adesanya, which I don't know what this person is. I will find out eventually, I guess. Israel Adesanya is showing a good example for Odua men. So it's contradiction already to what he said previously about Igbo and Yoruba men. So there is, in fact, a Yoruba man, because the name Adesanya tells me that that's a Yoruba man, who is showing good example for Odua men, which is the forefathers of Yoruba people. Don't ruin that progression, dude. All right. So again, you must not feel too sure about your comments to be deleting them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll find a comment later. I'm not sure, but I think I've looked everywhere. It looks like you're punked out. Another thing that comes from feminine energy is when you're not consistent. That's feminine energy, okay? It's neither right nor wrong. But again, lack of consistency, especially coming from a man, and especially if you're not too sure of yourself, that's also feminine energy. Meaning you left a comment and then you deleted it. I understand if you edited it, right? Because you're trying to put things in proper context, but you actually deleted the old comment. That's also a sign that you're not sure of yourself. That's feminine energy. So I'm not too surprised there, you know. But let's keep going. Then we also have the Tijuana chica from the Lapif Network also came because she was part of the panel on Jen's show. She came in and left a message. I thought your review was fair. Actually, she left a message first. I'm going backwards now. I thought your review was fair and it was some good advice. And I said, thanks. That means so much coming from you. Yes, and I mean that. And she goes, no problem. Thank you for being balanced and trying to instill some values in men. It's admirable. I will be sharing this video. Desirability and admirability, I don't know if that's a word, was one of the biggest topic on that original video that they talked about, right? So I appreciate that. Okay, so okay, here we go. The only way to win is to not play the game and not care. Actually, depending on what context, I actually agree with that, you know. Depends. It depends on what we're talking about. If you're being addressed directly, you should play the game and you need to learn game in that context. But if you're not being addressed directly, there were multiple times that the lady said on that show that if it doesn't apply, you let it fly. That is masculine energy. Okay? And it's sad to see that women have to teach a lot of our young men that, but it's okay because I'm also here to teach you that. If it doesn't apply, you always have to let it fly. There's a lot of time that things will trigger me, but I have to remind myself if it's not personal, then it's just not personal. There's a lot of generalizations, worst case scenario rhetorics in these spaces. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, that's wrong, but I just let it go because it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply, especially if I'm not being directly addressed. Okay? That's part of the skills you need to build as a man, right? So, so I would say when you say not play the game, what I'm saying is that if you're not being addressed, then if you know that they're generalizing, then you need to speak from a very generalized space and not take it personally. Because the moment you take it personally, it also speaks to how much you're able to maintain your core. As a man, if you're not able to maintain your core, that also speaks to your ability to maintain a masculine frame. I'm not the type that tells you it makes you less of a man. No, I don't have to say that because I do want you to grow. There is room for growth, right? But it also tells me that you have the inability to maintain a masculine frame, which is much needed when you're interacting with the members of the opposite gender, okay, within this particular social construct. All right, so and of course we have the guy who deleted his comments. I guess he feels empowered here. According to the herpes on the panel, okay, so he's still shaming and insulting. Okay, I don't even know what herpes mean, but it sounds like insulting. If you do that and stop feeding them attention, that makes you an abnormal narcissistic psychopath that needs mental help. Yeah, that's not what it means. Okay, that's not what it means. I think what I just said already added some context to that. What they were saying. Number one, well, they were speaking as ladies. They were speaking from the perspective of ladies, right? And there were actually men on that panel that actually showed real life example. Again, I wish I had that. I wish I had the example here, you know, to show you that clip. But it's actually possible to get the right energy out of women. It's actually very possible, right? So, but not exactly. But again, it doesn't mean you stop feeding them attention. You already give them the attention. You were on the video. You were watching the video, obviously, right? So you give them the attention. So that's neither here nor there. That's nullified instantly, right? And that makes you abnormal, narcissistic psychopath. No, it doesn't make you any of those. It just makes you have the inability to engage people when they're having certain conversations. That's all it did, right? And the fact that you took it all the way to that lens means you got triggered and you're unable to handle your own emotions. Yeah, and it shows in the submission here. All right, that's fine. It's welcome. Bring the smoke. I appreciate it. Someone said, "Will they're just yelling out and talking over each other like this is their first time public speaking." Well, yeah, your opinion. I actually think the ladies did a good job at having a conversation. But of course, once you bring feminine energy with feminine energy, it can create chaos. Just like if you bring masculine energy with masculine energy, you can't really create anything productive from that outside of maybe entertainment, you know. So, neither here nor there, right? All right, so I did a video here, I guess. Okay, Jared Ola. I don't know if this is a Nigerian. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess it is because he just misspelled his name. He's my namesake. I believe it's important that you understand Rollo's perspective of the wall. It's more applicable in the Western Hemisphere. I disagree 100%. Okay, because again, a lot of the time when we talk about Kemi Adetiba, the lady we talked about in this video, she's of the Western mindset. Okay, she spent a lot of time in New York. She still lives in the biggest city in Africa. That is a Western world to a large extent. So no, I disagree. Yeah, nah. If you watch our movies, you can see a lot of our perspectives are Western too. Anyway, cannot be implemented in Nigeria. Yes, it can be implemented. I'm finishing off the Rollo Tomassi's book right now, and the concept of the wall is applicable around the world. And if somebody's getting married at the age of 42, what are you gonna tell me? She's never had babies like that. She's definitely comfortable. She's spoken her stories before. She doesn't get pressurized by her family to get married either. But again, she's obviously within a certain social construct that we're dealing with right now. She's comfortable staying that long without getting married for whatever reason, personal to her. No, you don't have to actually be in the United States, okay? As I'm sure there are plenty of post-war women in Nigeria that are being proposed to or sought after. See, I agree with that, but a lot of people in the red pill community, we argue against that those are the exceptions to the rule, right? Because that's often not the case, right? Which is not a fair comparison between a liberal culture like the West and an African culture like Nigeria. There's a lot of liberal movement going on in Nigeria, especially in the cities. So, but thank you for your submission, Ola. My namesake. Thank you. So one viral video says, please, let's note that the vast majority of Black Americans do not feel this way towards African and Caribbeans. That proves the point I was making. Not everyone feels that way. The fringe group called Foundational Black American are the ones that have the problem, and the vast majority of Black Americans do not agree with them. All right, I agree with that perspective. I think O'Shea Duke Jackson was a public figure, has also proven that. Yep. What else do we have? So I did a video on the meaning of Akata from my perspective. And I still said in the video that it's better to avoid using that word in referencing Black Americans. And somebody still had something insulting and shameful to say. That goes to tell you can't satisfy people. Like I said, the video is to be deleted. So I will still leave it up there for educational purposes. The Rembert says, you people lie so much. It's a derogatory term for haters. It is now a derogatory term because, again, the people get to decide what they feel is derogatory or not. We've seen that over the years. Words would change meanings, right? But the original version of it wasn't derogatory. It was basically referencing the Black Panther movement, okay? Which was a movement, a political movement created by Black Americans, okay? And that's where it came from. Now, since it's becoming more and more popular that it's derogatory, we're going to basically conclude that it is derogatory and people should avoid using the word. I am 100% in support of that right now. However, you should also know the real meaning the background of where it's coming from if I'm here and I'm able to share that with you. And yes, you're going to hear a lot of Nigerians that don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't speak the language fluently like I do. That's my first language, Yoruba, right? And a lot of them are just running with these stupid rhetorics. Or some of them actually did come from a family that was using it as derogatory term to they personally they came from that family. My family was not that. My family never taught me to look down on black Americans. Yes, now I found out that some people came from that kind of family. They have to own that and stop generalizing that everyone came from that. We all don't come from that, right? But I get it. That's just the generality of it, right? Where that's personal that I'm talking about. So because of that, I concede we should stop using the word altogether. All right, let's see what else. We're almost there. We're gonna get started with today's shows, I promise. Okay, you know you created that picture. Okay, yeah, this was the person that said I created a picture. Yeah, I did not create the picture. No, sir. Addressed in the new video. Thanks. All right, so yeah, no, I did not create that picture. All right, so somebody said get this work. B, I don't know if this person is saying bitch, get this work, I'm not sure, but thanks for the submission. Somebody said the Mexican kill African American always in the South and nothing is done about it. That's sad. If that's true, that's sad. Right, so I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. There's just too many crazy things going on out there. You don't sound American on all, but very Nigerian. Yeah, I think I addressed that before. Somebody said he said he was Nigerian. What is that supposed to mean? You don't sound American at all, but very Nigerian. Yeah, that's what we found on the YouTube streets. We appreciate all of the comments. You immigrants are disrespectful. All right. That must be personal opinion, maybe personal experience, right? Black skin is amazing. We ADOS males are the greatest. All right. It says the fight scene was needless. Oh, okay. The fight scene was needless. There's a fight scene in the beginning of this video where I was addressing. I thought it was funny. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, this person feels differently. I can respect his feelings. It says the fight scene was needless, shocking, appalling, disgusting, and vile. Why do you post that? Must be the African in you. Okay, so this is a person that wants to insult Africans. We get the point now. That's why your home is third world, to say it nicely. Horrible for doing that intro. You represent African very well. Third world gutter antics. Disgusting. All right, thank you. I appreciate the comment. You got some attention there. All right, let's get back to today's business. I think that was a lot of fun to watch. But you know, I wanted to. We have a mission here, right? We're doing fantastically well. Oh, let me show something really quickly before we get into today's business. As you can see, we are at 95 subscribers. And the platform is still growing. So I appreciate all of the love that's coming. I appreciate all of the love. Let me just show you really quickly here what the growth looks like so far. In the last 28 days, we're still enjoying some 2,000 plus in growth in views, in minutes watched, and 391, almost 400% growth in subscribers. If we keep up this pace, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So thank you so much for showing your support, either as a live watcher or rebroadcast watcher. So let's get into today's business. Like I said, today we're here to touch on the Fresh and Fit, the base Justice League show. So let's get into the first clip. Let's just go right ahead and dive into the first clip.
Do you guys believe that modern day women respect men?
No.
Let's start here.
One of the most pervasive sayings in this community is never believe what a woman says, watch what she does. Women don't respect men, obviously, because of our culture.
All right, what he just said is applicable to every human being. Okay, never believe what a human being says. Watch what he or she does. Right now, I take it a little bit further. I always believe as a form of benefit of the doubt until you prove me wrong. But I'm paying more attention. The key thing is I'm paying more attention to your actions.
Men today are, at least the top men, are more exceptional than they have. We're more exceptional than we have ever been in human history. Our innovation, the IQs, the advancements in science and technology and medicine, yet women still look at us as, I don't know, disposable commodities. Now, biologically speaking.
All right, so there's a lot of generalizations in what he just said, right? I don't have that. Granted, he has the right to say that. He may have like empirical data to back that up, but I don't have that experience. So, and when you get on a public platform and you talk like this, and someone that doesn't have that experience is kind of like they're gonna be inclined to pushing against that, right? But again, I want to acknowledge that yes, the horizons have changed. The average woman is in a space right now where they're not gonna take bullshit from you, and they have their guards up, and they're not gonna take any. If they smell bullshit coming from 10,000 miles away, they can smell it, and they will push against it, right? So it's gonna require a lot more. Unfortunately, I know that's sad. Like why is it that man is responsible for everything? I know. But that's just where we found ourselves. Let's keep listening.
Yes, sperm is cheap and eggs are expensive, but the short answer is no. Women don't respect us because we don't make them earn our commitment. And a woman can never respect you if you don't make her earn your commitment.
That's not why women don't respect you, okay? I completely disagree with Donovan Sharpe, which is another creator in this space. I respect him too. But no, that's not why women don't respect you. Women don't respect you probably because they don't know you. That's number one. If they don't know you, they're not just going to accord respect randomly outside of the bare minimum respect you give to every human being, right? But over time, if women don't respect you after being around them, that's because you're not earning that respect, okay? And I'm dealing with a lot of women in this time and age, not only from a standpoint of just personal relationships, but in public, right? And I tend to command a certain level of respect, and it's consistent, okay? And yet, I keep hearing these consistent complaints as well. There's more to that conversation than just, hey, they just don't respect you just because, No.
Well, you say like average women don't want to get with average men?
Yeah,
That's
in general, I would say
more or less. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's.
You see,
other men want to be? It's your.
Than they have. We're more exceptional than we have ever been in human history.
so he's saying we're more exceptional with respect to, we create everything as men, right? Yeah, of course we did. That's why we're men, right? That's why we're men. Why is that coming into this conversation of intergender, intersexual relationships, right?
Our innovation, the IQs, the advancements in science and
Oh, by the way, IQs are not the same thing as EQs, right? So, of course, I know, like I said in one of the comments earlier, there's a lot of people that have IQ, professionals, but they lack empathy, they lack emotional intelligence, or they actively try to discount emotional, the power of emotions in the space that we live in today, when we know that that's what drives everybody, 85% of the time, including yourself. You just don't realize it yet. Why are we talking about your IQ? Are we not speaking from emotions? Are we not speaking that, hey, we're not getting what we deserve? Is that not emotions, right?
technology and medicine, yet women still look at us.
By the way, this whole conversation, I have to give it to, what's his name? Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor was on point 97% of the time in this. I encourage everybody to go watch this episode. By the way, it was a great episode from the FreshandFit's. As a matter of fact, I gained a little bit more respect for them. I think they have a lot to learn. That's fine. That's why I'm their big brother virtually, and I can help add some context to the conversation. But I think Tommy Sotomayor brought a lot of context to the conversation. And I appreciate Rollo Tomassi too, because what he does well is that he doesn't directly push against them. He can hear that where they went, and then he will use certain words to arrange whatever they're trying to say. Yeah, let's keep going.
Us as, I don't know, disposable commodities. Now, biologically speaking, yes, sperm is cheap and eggs are expensive, but the short answer is no. Women don't respect us because we don't make them earn our commitment. And a woman can.
So that's a bunch of word salad. He sounds so smart, and I think he's a smart guy, right? But that's not the reality of how we exist as human beings. We're human beings. We're not experimental specimens in the lab. We're not. Okay, so when you say things like, I know sperm is cheap and eggs are expensive, like, while that is a fact, right, the conversation is missing a big piece of the pie.
Never respect you if you don't make her earn your commitment.
What you say, like average women don't want to get with average men?
Yeah, in general, I would.
So that's Rollo literally trying to help him. So you're saying an average woman don't want to get with an average man? He said, like, isn't that always been the case? That's always been that way. Again, we're talking about average. Now, the real question brings about a whataboutism. Does the average man wants to get with an average woman? Okay.
More or less, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's been going around for a little while now.
Yes, sir.
I also think it's very important to clarify that men and women have differing definitions of what respect actually is. For women are used to being respected just for the sake of being women, right? Or you don't respect women. It's really part of their communitarian kind of psyche, right? Everybody's deserving of respect. That's like when women talk about respect, that's what they mean when it applies to them. When it applies to men, it's what makes you respectable. What is it that makes you accept?
Boom. What makes you respectable? That's a direct, I don't know if Donovan Sharpe caught that, but that was a direct push against everything he said. Everything he said is the woman thinks like they can't do that, they can't do that. And then he said, no, what makes, as a man, the reality is what makes you respectable. I know you may expect a little bit more. They should just respect you just because you're a man, just because you have a penis. But that's not the reality, right? Maybe that's unfair, but that's not the reality.
Exceptional, but it's also that women can respect, but also other men can respect. We talk about this all the time where we say, women want to get with a guy that other men want to be and other women want to bang. And so part of that, what do other men want to be? It's your burden of performance, what it is, how you are, as far as what your achievements are, what you've made of yourselves, what you built of yourself. Is that respectable? And that's, I think, for men, it's much.
So you see, much of that responsibility is on you as a man. Has nothing to do with the woman. The woman perceives that, she receives that, whatever. She's watching from wherever she's watching, right? But all of that, that's what you want to be. Are you bangable, right? Are you respectable, more importantly, right? That has to do with something you bring to the table. Unfortunately, that shouldn't really be unfortunate, but that's the reality, at least, right?
More hierarchical, if that makes a sense. It's like there's the colonel and the captain and the sergeant and the corporal, and then all on down in this hierarchy, right? Who's more respectable amongst that hierarchy? Well, we do that naturally, and women, when they're looking,
we do that naturally.
At men in terms of like, can they respect this guy or not? It's what has he done, or who is he, or like status wise, what is he? And it doesn't have to be like necessarily status. It could be like you're like how good you look at him.
It doesn't necessarily have to be status. A lot of it is perception. I see a lot of time in this space we get stuck on money and status only, right? And we get stuck, when you start to talk about just money and status and you're just speaking from that space, it tells me you lack experience. It tells me that you've been acting lame in these streets. You lack social skills. And that's okay, but we got to get to the bottom of the real issues and not get stuck and just complain about the problems.
What have you built of yourself? Like, have you maximized your potential for being, what you could be? That's where we talk about respectability amongst men. And I think that most women don't respect men in that respect, because
most women don't respect men in that respect, as opposed to, hey, they just want to be evil and not respect you just because you carry a penis. That's the wrong rhetoric, okay? And I want you to hear both sides, okay? That's why I said this was very important conversation, and it made me really appreciate the Fresh and Fit platform even more, because I feel like, hey, if you can bring attention to the conversation. That's respectable. Now, if they start commanding respect from women just because of having such a platform, it works 100% of the time. Even if when they talk, you can hear that they didn't have any experience before achieving that status. It's okay. We all come into that place with different angles, right?
They don't see it around them right now. It's very rare to see a guy that is quote unquote respectable, because we have for the last really 60 some odd years told women that men are ridiculous, or they're borderline abusers, or they're incompetent in some way. They're like Homer Simpson, or Everybody Loves Raymond, or Dr. Huxtable, or whatever else it is. That's one archetype. And then there's the guy who's the borderline abusive asshole that they keep coming back to all the time. Can you respect that guy? No. Can you respect the other guy? No.
That's why we have to continue to have this conversation. There's a lot of socialization that goes into what a woman believes and why she can't just respect you off the streets. Okay? Like he just said, there are shows that actually portray, especially a black man, in a certain way, right? And yes, that's a big part of the puzzle, right? But we got to put things in context, because if we sound like, I'm going to play it again, what Donovan Sharpe sounded like in the beginning, there are young men listening to that, and when they hear such things, they go to the extreme. Even though he may not have meant it that way, they just hear the extreme. So, again, we need more voices putting context in the conversation, right?
Because women have to save him from himself, kind of thing. And so with that being their upbringing, that kind of like predisposes women to say, that guy ain't shit. Even if he is shit, even if he is respectable, the default is he ain't shit.
That's just the default. The default, right? The default, when somebody meets you for the first time, you may look a certain way. It could be because of the color of your skin. You're automatically you're not landing out of the sky as a default as respectable. But again, once you open your mouth, are you confirming that? The second sentence coming out of your mouth, is it confirming that? You don't have a lot of chances. The third statement coming out of your mouth, is that confirming that you ain't shit? Then it is what it is. We all have to experience that. So that makes it fair, unfortunately. Okay? So, I'm not talking about the white privilege right now. Okay? I'm talking about just in general.
And he's going to have to prove to me that, because I'm the queen, right? I'm the princess kind of thing. And I think when women begin from that perspective, then it leads them to say, well, most men aren't going to be able to provide security. They're not that hot. They think they're all full of themselves. It's, they're all full of puffing up their chests, and its masculinity is ridiculous or toxic. And so when we talk about respect, I think it's very important to define, like, what does that respect mean to men and what does it mean to women? Absolutely.
So you see a lot of women these days that said, I just need a man that can respect me. They're talking about love. Okay, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about, they're talking about love, right? It's still, that at the end of the day. And if you approach that by self-deprecating and thinking she needs you to bow, now you become a simp. And then you come back and then you blame the rest of the world for that 2 years later, right? So I want you to hear the contrast of what Donovan Sharpe said in the beginning before I go on to the next clip. This is a very, very important conversation. Okay, it was a great, fantastic question from Myron.
Do you guys believe that modern day women respect men?
No.
Let's start here.
He just goes no. That was an absolute answer. That was an absolute answer, and that answer is incorrect. Okay, the answer needed context. Okay, let's listen to him one more time. Had his own context.
One of the most pervasive sayings in this community is never believe what a woman says, watch what she does. Women don't respect men, obviously, because of our culture. Men today are, at least the top men, are more exceptional than they have. We're more exceptional than we have ever been in human history. Our innovation, the IQs, the advancements in science and technology and medicine, yet women still look at us as, I don't know, disposable commodities. Now, biologically speaking, yes, sperm is cheap and eggs are expensive, but the short answer is no. Women don't respect us because we don't make them earn our commitment. And a woman can never respect you if you don't make her earn your commitment.
What do you say?
So if you don't make her earn your commitment, they can't respect you. I don't know. It depends. It depends. That sentence is loaded. That sentence sounds more like he's moving in the direction that I just got to be an asshole for her to respect me. That's not necessarily true. There are people interpreting that statement as that, and that's not true. Now, in general, make her earn your commitment. Yes, can command respect. In general, right? But there are certain contexts where that's not true. If you think that means being an asshole, no, you're just gonna be an asshole. That's it. Okay, that's what that means. So that was the context it was coming from right there. Let's keep going, then we can compare it again.
Like average women don't want to get with average men.
Yeah,
That's
in general, I would say
more or
the
less.
West.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's been going around for a little while now.
Yes, sir.
I also think it's very important to clarify that men and women have differing definitions of what respect actually is. For women are used to being respected just for the sake of being women, right? Or you don't respect women. It's really part of their communication.
That's very true. But I wouldn't consider that respect. It's more so of a courtesy that the society has applied to just women, right? So I don't know if we can call that respect, but he also spoke to what do we mean by respect later on. Let's keep listening.
Aryan kind of psyche, right? Everybody's deserving of respect. That's like when women talk about respect, that's what they mean when it applies to them. When it applies to men, it's what makes you respectable. What is it that makes you exceptional? But it's also that women can respect, but also other men can respect. We talk about this all the time where we say, women want to get with a guy that other men want to be and other women want to bang. And so part of that, what do, other men want to be? It's your burden of performance, what it is, how you are, as far as what your achievements are, what you've made of yourself, what you built of yourself. Is that respectable? And that's, I think, for men, it's much more hierarchical, if that makes a sense. It's like, there's the colonel and the captain and the sergeant and the corporal, and then all on down in this hierarchy, right? Who's more respectable amongst that hierarchy? Well, we do that naturally. And women, when they're looking at men in terms of like, can they respect this guy or not? It's what has he done, or who is he, or like status wise, what is he? And it doesn't have to be like necessarily status. It could be like how good you look at. I mean, what have you built of yourself? Like, have you maximized your potential for being, what you could be? That's where we talk about respectability amongst men. And I think that most women don't respect men
Yeah. Let's move on to the next clip. We got a few more clips to go.
Very nice.
Tommy, take it away.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, what do we mean by respect?
That's a fantastic question, because yes, we do have different definitions of respect. I would say respect in the means of
viable options,
respecting the man's time, seeing him almost as not necessarily, and looking at him as a human being
beneath
in
them.
general, or respecting that man, his time, looking at him as a human being. Is he an expendable commodity?
You see now that context matters. Looking at you as a human being, does that equate to a woman? Or let me say the feminine energy caring about your feelings? Is that what we mean by that? It's loaded. Like when you say, hey, you need to look at us men as human beings too, right? When you say that, it just means you don't understand a typical woman. You don't understand women, right? That's what it means, right? Now, you could say that and then say it fancy, say you don't respect us men, right? It's loaded. It's loaded,
From that perspective.
Or do they feel the need to qualify?
Yeah,
to
or
them,
do they
maybe?
feel the need to qualify him?
Okay.
Is he a potential romantic counterpart? So it's kind of more of a holistic thing, multifunctional. But that's basically where I'm getting at here.
Okay, I'm going to say it this way. Women's needs changed, so therefore the way they looked at men became different. If they needed a man to take care of them, there was a time in history where they couldn't get a job. The man had to do all this stuff. They couldn't own land. They couldn't even get educated.
Right.
So their idea and respect level of a man was basically a life raft or
provisioning, providing.
He was. So they viewed him different.
That's what it was.
Well, once you get to the point where they don't need you like that, it's equivalent of what happens with your children.
That's when I laugh when people still say, oh, yeah, man, what a man brings to the table is to protect and provide. I'm like, yeah. What do you mean by protecting and providing? You mean emotionally, or you're talking about physically? Because physically, they kind of can do that for themselves in these days and time and age, right? We have studies coming out that women in their 20s are making a whole lot more money. than men in their 20s, right? Yeah, eventually we know men will make more money, right? But the studies coming out that's saying this, right? So does that mean you're useless to a woman? It doesn't mean that. But if you're stuck on 1960s idea of providing and protecting a woman, then you're going to lose 100% of the time, because you'll be focused on just providing that, but then you'll be losing her emotionally. Then you start to hear a woman says they just don't feel the connection, right? And then you blame the world for that, right? Or you blame evolution for that. And evolution is inevitable, right?
Oh, wow.
When your children grow up and they no longer lead you, they start talking to you differently.
Yeah.
But
They do.
how they're raised has something to do with it as well. If you have a group of people,
But the examples that I have, children growing up and leaving your house and they don't really need you for the physical things, doesn't mean they don't need you for moral support, doesn't mean they don't need you emotionally speaking, right? So even though we're gonna, in this context, compare women to children, we have to remember that the children, even they have become adults and they've grown up and they're married and they have their own family, still need you. They still need, they just don't need your money, right? So yes, that's that. I can see the analogy there to evolution, right?
like black women, which I talk about a lot, if they grow up in a household with no man, they don't grow up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old having any reverence towards any man.
Right. Right.
Matter of fact, they grow up with a hatred towards a man because their mother told them.
Now that's part of that socialization thing again, right there, right? So yes, with respect, see the problem. This is what I mean by social skills, right? When you have social skills, you will basically you won't approach the idea of blaming people so soon, or shaming, insulting, and blaming and guilt tripping people. You will basically have a little bit level of empathy for how people are built. People are built based on how they are raised, right? How they are raised is how they are raised. They don't get to control that. Guess what? You don't get to control how you were raised. As a matter of fact, the way you're thinking things through right now is also a function of a lot of socializations. That's just what it is, right? So when you understand that, you'll be able to attract better results, because you're not just attacking factors that has nothing to do with the problem in the first place.
Your daddy ain't shit, which I've never understood why being shit is a good thing. I always wonder,
They can't
I ain't
trust
shit.
men.
You're right, I ain't shit.
At least it made them laugh. Multiple times it made them laugh. This guy's way too serious, but he made them laugh. Rollo Tomassi brought the knowledge as usual, and the conversation was much needed. I really appreciated it.
There's that logic, because they seem to have the most children with these men who ain't shit.
Yeah, but they can't trust men.
Right,
They're
so they
taught not
view
to
it.
trust
Yes,
men.
so they view it as already they go into it with a low view of men, and then when
So when you say they can't trust men, that is a fact, right? And here's something we know about trust. You can't force it. You either trust or you don't trust. The only thing that makes trust happens is time, patience, right? Consistency. Time, patience, consistency. Time, patience, consistency. Like human beings have they have no choice but to trust you. If you understand the power of time, patience, and consistency, okay? They don't get to decide if they want to trust you or not. They just naturally trust you when you show up all the time, consistently. Time, patience, from your standpoint, right? So if a woman has always been raised because of socialization, the media, yes, that's just part of life, right? It is what it is, right? And they be conditioned to feel like men ain't shit, right? Is that a lost cause now? It's not. But you need to be aware that by default, the default place they're going to come to is that you got to pass the test. That's why you get shit test all the time.
they can survive now because you took away what happened 100 years ago when they couldn't. Well, they can survive now. And as a matter of fact, when they used to couldn't in the 50s thrive with several men, now they can. Now they can go on several trips with several different men, post it on Instagram, and find another man who sees them traveling, so he then tells her her worth is higher. So if she's only looking for a good time and surviving, Well, her idea of respect now has changed from a
It changes. So okay. So that's a great point that Tommy just brought up, right? If you lack empathy to listen long enough, you will always have problem with the ladies, okay? Because again, yes, a woman, especially the feminine energy, will change, will move, will change weather, the environments will change, she will change moods, whatever, right? But if you lack the empathy to understand the importance of listening, active listening, if you think listening means you are weaker, like you're a weak man, right? You will always fail at your relationships with the opposite gender. It's just what it is, right? But if you are able to be patient and listen, right, which takes a little bit more strength from you as a man, right, then you're able to benefit from the goodness that a woman can bring to your life in the space we live in right now. And that's just what it is. And that's the bottom line. So you have to listen. Because you understood what she said yesterday, it's not enough today. Now today you have to keep listening. You have to keep listening. The same thing is applicable in a marriage. If you see any kind of successful marriage, it's because somebody has learned how to listen actively over time without being entitled to what they heard yesterday, right? So you don't get to cancel, but you said this yesterday. You don't get to do any of that, right? Today is a new day. So what's up? What are we doing today? What are we doing today as a matter of mindset, not necessarily something you do physically, right? Yeah.
guy who can provide for her and give her children in the future to, well, hell, I see Kim Kardashian still getting a boyfriend after 4 kids by one guy. And after dating this guy, she got a guy who was worth more than him and a guy who worth more than him. So what they did now is changed what they viewed as a good man. Now a good man is just a guy who provides for them and allow them to live a magical life. So the respect that they have is still there.
Now he's generalizing, but you get the gist, right? You get the gist. He gave an example, Kim Kardashian, right? I mean, she's with a billionaire, right? And we had the billionaire was still simping today, right? A lot of people will consider it simping. I don't think it's simping. He wants his woman back. He had a food truck load of roses in front of our house today, right? After all the drama. And that's the reality of life, right? But again, if you don't have any experience, you want to get out this YouTube streets and cap all day and say, hey, I would never take that. Best of luck to you, because in this real life, you will take a lot of shit, okay? That's just, you have to eat shit first before you can eat the goodness of what life has to present, right? That's the reality, right?
Yeah. You just got to be one of those guys that's in that place, because if you notice, it's hard for one guy if he doesn't have a certain amount of money or status. It's hard for him to do a lot of things. Yeah. But if you got status, you can have 5 women just give you a blowjob in front of each other.
Real talk.
Yeah, but that's just blowjob, right? Let me just say this. Most of the men that are watching Fresh and Fit, they don't want blowjobs. What they want is a girlfriend. Let's be fair. What happened to them, many of them cannot get girlfriends. That's the bottom line, okay? Many of them are unable to get girlfriends, unable to talk to women, okay? Very awkward, socially awkward kids. It's okay. We know that you're not alone if you're that kind of person, and it gets worse if you don't acknowledge that that's the actual problem. It just gets worse, okay? So the actual problem is social skills, and there are ways to learn social skills. It's actually easier said than done, but it gets easier with time, okay? So, yeah, that last part right there.
They will. So the dynamic has changed, and their respect level changed at that point. So it became respect meant something different. That's why I asked you to describe what it meant, because it just starts meaning something different. But they still have respect level. The biggest part of that, we just lost respect for ourselves as men.
Wow.
So because of that, they view us how.
Whoa, that was a bombshell right there. We lost respect. Let me go back.
The biggest part of that, we just lost respect for ourselves as men.
Wow.
So because of that, they view us.
Yeah, you know, you hear things like, "Come on, man, have some self-respect," right? Right. Like for me personally, what Kanye West is doing publicly right now needs to be done privately, extremely privately. And no, when a woman says no and she's moving on, the last thing you want to do is send a bunch of roses. I'll talk about that in another video. You know, I need to talk about Kanye actually. But the point is that respect means so many different things to different people, and many people run towards that. I just need a man to respect me. I just want a woman who can respect me. Everyone is asking for respect. What that tells me is that everybody don't know what the fuck they want. That's what it tells me. If everyone is complaining the same thing, then it should be easy to achieve. But the plot that everybody's saying the same thing tells me that everyone, for the most part, don't know what the hell they want, right? And we will keep having this conversation until we figure that out.
That's how we viewed us.
Well said.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic.
And make sure y'all go out and get my book, Fuck Them Kids.
He has a new book coming out. I said, fuck them kids. But all right, let's go to the next
When
one.
I first sat down, I was like, I can't believe this is crazy. So
I think the best part is that like we can come together as men
Yes.
and not have to fight about you know
Dumb shit, bro.
We all say the same thing pretty much. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
hey, we see it in different ways and we're working together for a common goal to help the man out there. So.
Right.
and here's the thing too. I want to say
Yeah, I beg to differ. We're not always saying the same thing. A lot of times, yes, we're all saying the same thing. But there's a lot of rhetorics that's being pushed directly because we know it gets views. They're very negative. Like just today, I saw a headline, something to the effect of, do men benefit from love? I mean, such a headline is only designed to attract people that have had bad experience with love, right? That's negative, right? There's nothing, for the most part, people that are watching that are just wallowing. It's just misery love companies, right? So I get it, it's marketing, but I'm just saying, no, we're not always all saying the same thing. But I appreciate where he's going with that. We need to keep having conversations with each other, or at least adding context. I can do my own part, which is adding context to a lot of the conversations in this space. That's basically all I can do. Hopefully it helps someone, right? But what we know is that the biggest platforms are big because they push a lot of negative rhetorics, and they seem to be more entertaining. The lunatic, the crazy person seems a little bit more entertaining when they're dancing in the market, right? It is what it is. That's just human beings in general, right?
Say this real fast before I know Aaron's gonna kill it here in a second with respect. If you make this kind of content, right, like male self-improvement, RP type content, and you attack another RP content creator, just understand that you're also attacking yourself.
RP means red pill. Okay.
So
That's right.
because real talk, whether it's us or the other guys or whatever else, we all have very similar mindsets when it comes to women, viewing the world, money, etc. So when you
Not really. I will slow down on that. But let's keep listening.
attack another content creator in the RP space, you're basically invalidating your own ideologies essentially to a degree.
Yeah, that's a stretch. And that's coming from Myron, Fresh and Fit, who's literally trying to pull other channels down for responding and reacting to their videos, right? Yeah, no, it's not that simple. Sorry.
Because we all agree on 90% of the stuff. It's the things that we actually do fight about is like a 1% or 2%
Yes.
variance, man.
Yeah.
So it's very stupid. It's still amazing to me to this day how so many guys that have a similar mindset cannot work together, bro. Like it's fucking dumb. You know what I'm
Because they're
saying?
guys, though.
So in one respect, he's actually blaming us men for not being able to work together, right? So I can agree with him on that, like, hey, we could work together and make some things happen, right? Instead of fighting against each other. But again, now we're not being consistent. Now we're not sure of ourselves. Sometimes we say it's the woman's fault. Sometimes we say it's our fault. Now I'm on the side of it's not a matter of fault. It's a matter of we have the leverage as men. We have the leverage to change things if we want to change things, right? Because we are still the leader in this society, right? It is what it is. Even if women are moving a certain way, right? We have the power to change that. But that's a function of time and patience. If your rhetorics are more so like, let's just check them right now and cross them all out, there's going to be young kids that will gravitate towards that. That's negative. And I disagree 100% with that, right? So our methods can be far apart as far as what we think is the way to solve the problems. They're way far apart. Your way of solving the problem is to check those ladies and check them right now. And I disagree 100% with that. I think that actually works more so against you. Maybe not you because you have the status that works 100% of the time, but your followers, we're going to take that back to their family, to their personal relationships, and that's going to work against them 100% of the time, right? Because they don't have a Fresh and Fit platform, right? So I agree. One side, yes, we should work together, and that's I agree with that. But I needed to bring that up. Like let's keep that same energy when we're talking about everything else, right? Let's work together. What you find a lot of time in this space is that you have a lot of men who have swallowed black pill, not red pill, a black pill, maybe something worse. Because I actually don't understand the black pill thing, right? Maybe something worse, and they just get stuck in that negative rage, right? That's what you find a lot of times, right? So, and when they hear anything that sounds different from their idea, which is to just blame the women, usually, right? They insult you for that. They just insult you straight up, So, yeah, let's do better.
Well, here's the thing. Before Aaron goes, the reason why RP content creators can attack other RP content creators is because the guys who are attacking us are not RP. That's not what it's about. What it comes down to, and this is just basic jealousy and envy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So one person was just saying, we agree for the most part. It's dumb to not be able to work together. And then the next person is going to say, no, it's jealousy and envy. Let me call them out of their names a little bit quicker and faster, right? At least it keeps the same energy. Shout out to Donovan Sharpe.
And this is not an ideology, because what we talk about are facts. Everything that we talk about is rooted in truth. It is empirical data. These are stories.
Yeah, all of those data are being checked right now. They are being cross-checked because, again, you push it further enough, people are going to start coming to the surface and checking them. There's a conversation I listened to today earlier on between the roommates and Shambudi, and she referenced the conversation that she had with Kevin Samuels, and they're starting to uncover a lot of the not so truthful part of a lot of the stats that's been thrown around. You have a lot of young men throwing stats around and not knowing their source, and there's a lot of discrepancies in a lot of those stats, right? That's why I said it comes back down to game, because game is a function of you. It comes from inside out with respect to the social construct you find yourself, right? And that's always going to be a moving liquid thing, right? But when you get stuck on stats and empirical data and you call that truth, you see that your followers will continue to have these problems.
From ourselves and other men. But if you find yourself having to attack other men for no other reason but that you disagree with 1%, that 1%, that's not really the reason you're attacking other people. You're attacking other people for personal gain. If that's how you want to pay your bills, that's fine, but that's not what we do here.
Yeah. Can I give you a different view?
Oh God. Oh boy.
And James Harden. But then I watched Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, and then I watch Isaiah Thomas, and so what happens, and they're all in the same space.
Yes.
But what happens is when you got men and men trying to be alpha in almost everything they do, they will compete.
There you go. That's a better context than just calling people names and insulting them for every little thing you want to say. That is a better context. Okay? That's a better context. Okay? Men are designed to compete. Sometimes that's going to be a little rough in the beginning. It's going to be chaotic, right? As a man, as a masculine man, come on. You want to make sure you're looking at best case scenario first, okay? You want to make sure that you're at least paying attention to the best case scenario. If your angle is always the worst case scenario or generalized empirical data statistics, that's questionable. It tells me you have an agenda, And again, shout out to Donovan Sharpe. I like him. We need him in this space, okay?
Now, there's a thing that says iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if they compete in a positive way, then positive things can come out of it.
That's right.
The problem is what you said. A lot of the people, they're not competing in a positive way. They're trying to pay their bills, and they're trying to say, if you get a bunch of chicks, if I attack you, I can get some of those chicks.
Yep.
So that's the difference in the way it's being approached. If it's being approached and then the two people can meet and there's no beef, there's no, they can talk about the differences, then they can actually merge the two audiences or the two groups of people.
Right.
And
Way
there's
more productive.
Yeah. So there's too many people. You can watch in night show, the late night show hosts, they have like what's called friendly rivalries.
Yeah, of course.
So they'll have those. So I think that's the problem we have. Alpha males are going to butt heads on small ideas.
Sure.
It's the problem when they try to destroy each other, because what you're saying is 100% true. Those guys aren't red pilled, those are actually people that are sent there. Because if you notice, women will always cheer those guys on when they're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to. If one guy speaks out against Fresh and Fit, a bunch of women will go over there and say,
That's right.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
but not
you're
one
right.
of them would give it up.
Actually, that hasn't been what I've seen. What I've seen is that there are also men who felt differently. There are men that don't feel like you have to attack women in order to get the most out of relationships with women. There are majority of healthiest men feel like you don't have to attack women. They're actually healthier as far as mentally speaking, right? Because for the obvious reasons, like if you feel like you just said, based on what you just said, if you feel the need to attack your counterparts to make the most out of yourself, you need to pull them down from whatever pedestal they're on before you can make yourself feel better. There's nothing healthy about that, right? So based off the same logic that you just used, and there's a lot of men that feel differently and feel like maybe they haven't really judged Fresh and Fit very well, because the honest truth is that some people judge them without watching their full stream, right? And that's the honest truth. And there's a lot of places that they've been good, but those moments that go viral, just like Kevin Samuels, are powerful. They are powerful to drive a negative rhetoric, and there are people that push those rhetoric into their personal relationships and create even worse relationships, right? So, yeah, I'll push against that a little bit. It's not just people that are just jealous and envious, and it's still men that are following some of the other platforms that I see that may have come off as attacking Fresh and Fit. Yes, they actually attacked Fresh and Fit, right? But Fresh and Fit also have moved in certain funny ways. They've been inconsistent. I'm giving them a pass because they're young men and they're still trying to figure themselves out. And we've all been there, and we're still in it, right? We will continue to figure ourselves out. But let's not act like this guy's just attracted attacks randomly because they're successful. That's not how it happened. There's a lot of backstories to it, right?
Exactly. That's my point. But that guy is too short-sighted, and that goes back to the respect that we were talking about. Guys today are short-sighted, and women are now using that against them.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's so true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think, let me see here.
Rivalry, but they played the same game. It was basketball, right?
You could call that basketball.
You could, well, yeah, right. Exactly. But those were the
NWA
glory
back
days.
then,
Those were
yeah.
the glory days. My guy was Vinny Johnson. That was my guy. That was my guy.
Microwave.
Oh, dude, the microwave was the man, dude. But when you have guys, we have guys going against us playing against. They're playing a different set of rules. They're not really, and there is no official or unofficial rules of engagement. But when you're trying to get people's channels taken down, putting out,
Wait. There's no official rules of engagement, right? What I've heard is a lot of the guys that push back against Fresh and Fit, what I've heard a lot of them say is that, no, we don't want to pull anybody down. I've heard a lot of that. Maybe there's some people that try to pull them down. I won't discount that. Humans are evil. Humans can be evil, okay? But
putting out false or personal information about them, that's not the same game. That's not competing.
It's cowardice.
Yes,
It's
that's
cowardice.
exactly what it is.
So respect.
Respect, and then
There we go.
we'll revisit this as well.
yeah, the fact that Myron had a pregnancy scare wasn't false information. The fact that Fresh CEO Walter, the fact that he was caught simping to a sugar babe, that wasn't a made up information, right? Again, I'm okay with all of those kind of mistakes because they're men, and men do make mistakes. That's how men are built. But again, that's a stretch right there.
Except for I don't think you're willing to go as far as me, so let me take over from there.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You may be surprised.
Right. but if you, I look at women like this. I think women are just really big children who you can't physically punish, and you can't put them in timeout.
Yep.
Because if you think about it
And
like
don't
this,
judge them.
but you're like think about
There
it.
you go.
Now, I agree with that to a certain extent within the right context. I think women are very smart, however, okay? I think women are very, very smart. They in general, there's a lot of smart women out here. But I do think that within the context of a relationship, right, there are times as a man that you just have to see that way. It helps you not take things personally. It helps you maintain your frame. Like if you see a woman as a child, as long as you stay within, there's a certain zone you have to stay, safe zone where you have to stay, because once you start seen as a child, there's a place you go to where you start to tell her you're an adult. Well, that's not going to work either, okay? Now you're in that not so safe zone. You're going to make it work against you, right? But there's that place you stay in where you give her grace. That allows you to give her grace, right? Where you feel like, she's just like my other children, right? Maybe it gives you sanity, right? In the middle of a relationship. There are many situations like that you will encounter where it's a very nice safe zone to go to when your woman just says something like, or she does something, you're like, I'm just going to let that pass, right? You will give a lot of grace. But when you give grace to women, you know what women do, or the feminine energy does? It multiplies it, right? Like, listen, you're going to make boo-boo yourself. You're going to make mistakes yourself. You're going to make crap on yourself sometimes, but she will give you more than enough grace in multiple folds of what you gave to her. And that's how relationships work in general, you know? So if that's a safe zone for you to go to, where you can see a woman as a child, so you don't judge her just as much. You don't judge her like, oh, she's an adult. We should hold her accountable, right? That could work in your favor within the right context, right? Now, that's not something you do 100% of the time, of course, right? If there's something that's continuing, like persistent bad behavior, you got to call it what it is. But also how you land that matters. Wherever that message is, that will matter, right? So,
Except for I don't think you're willing to go as far as me, so let me take over from there.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You may be surprised.
Right. But if you, I look at women like this. I think women are just really big children who you can't physically punish and you can't put them in timeout.
Yep.
Because if you think about it
And
like
don't
this,
judge them.
but you're like think about it.
There you go.
oh, okay, I played that again. Let me play the next one. All right.
Women are just really big children who you can't
Same one.
physically punish and you can't put them in timeout.
Yep.
They're stiff. But
She married. She had sex with NBA player, had a kid with him, and he's probably going to be on the hook.
Like
Okay,
deliberately
all right.
planned.
She started dating him while he was in college,
Okay.
so this was clearly a plan of
We're
hers.
not
right, and
talking.
that goes to another thing. If a guy did this,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And also, she
would
would
be in
So they were talking about Brittany Renner here. You know the big Brittany Renner story. She trapped NBA player or something like that with pregnancy. That's what the manosphere is pushing, but I've heard enough to know that there's more to that story than just that simple stuff. But anyway, then somebody goes, if a guy does that, it's like, we keep doing this if a guy does that. But when women do the whataboutism, we'll push against it, right? But we're doing it, right? If a guy does that, well, we don't expect a man to do that, right? That's why we're men, right? And if you're, again, concerned about how do we hold this woman accountable, then there are ways to do that without making yourself less than a man. Okay? That's all I'm saying. There are ways to do that without making yourself less than a man, without bringing yourself down to wherever you think a woman's level is. Okay? Without making yourself equal to a woman, because a man and a woman are completely different things and they're not equal. Once you make it equal, you're not going to get the result you're looking from that relationship.
jailed.
right, women get away with too much, and that's the problem. We keep facilitating it.
Yep.
Whenever we see a 13-year-old boy sleep with a 25-year-old student, our dumb asses will sit around in this corner talking about, I wish the teachers was doing that.
Yeah,
when I
right,
was
right,
around.
right.
Where
Yeah,
those
I'm trying
girls
to
So let's unpack that real quickly. Women get away with way too much, and that's a problem. Let's pretend to be a 21-year-old young man listening to that, okay? If you're Tommy Sotomayor, you can say that. You have, hopefully you have the mental capacity to know that you're not looking at your wife like that at home, right? This is just a general thing. We're looking at the community. We need to build a community, blah, 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 right? Let's pretend to be a 21-year-old man relating to that, and he just got dumped 3 months ago, randomly, for no reason. Or maybe he dumped somebody. It could be he was the dumper, right? But it was because the girl was moving like a hoe. Sorry, like a 304 on Instagram, right? But he's still butthurt about the situation, right? So now he's in a new situation with a new girlfriend, but he's been projecting the last relationship on this new relationship. And now there've been a few arguments. And then he hears women get away with a lot of stuff, and that's a problem. So he goes back to the he goes back to his dorm. He's a graduate student. He goes back to his dorm and he says, that's a problem. Women get away with a lot of stuff. And the girl's like, where's that coming from? What are you talking about? Right? There's a lot of those going on right now. People are projecting what they're hearing on social media, other people's problems, into their personal relationship that didn't have the problem in the first place. It could be because they were able to relate from a past relationship. But again, the point I'm making there is that when you say that statement, it's a double-edged sword. When you say that's a problem, we're focused on the problem. When you focus on problems expand. That's law of attraction, right? So should we not talk about it? No, we should talk about it. But let's make sure we had some context to it. Let's make sure that we get to the solution, right? Because if we don't, we're creating even bigger problems.
Yeah, so we don't even respect ourselves as men, and we don't respect our boys because we're saying that our boys can be used as long as they get sex out of it. Wow. So when you run that down the line, why would women ever respect us when they see we don't respect ourselves? When they see that we'll flag each other and try to knock each other down, they just sit back and laugh. They sit back and watch. When they see a fine woman walk in the club and all the rich men throw as much money at her as they possibly can just to see which one will sleep with her, guess who just won? She did. So when you said that there are no Democrat men who are alpha males, that's a lie. Let me tell you why. Because the Democrat men on top that's feeding the soy to the ones on the bottom, they are alpha men because they're smart enough to use those who want to be used. All right. Wow.
Yeah, somebody made that statement earlier that there was no alpha man in the Democratic Party. And I thought that was laughable too, but, Tommy just put it properly, Yeah, it's a lot of absolute statements as usual, back and forth. But again, the reason why I appreciate this panel is that we have a Tommy Sotomayor, we have a Rollo Tomassi, and we have each other, every single one of them, to push against each other. So we're not just in an echo chamber as usual.
Volume. And I said that's like the one thing aside from hitting the gym that's under your control, asking women out. And if you ask, the average guy doesn't ask out a girl a month. He really doesn't. And so
boom.
True. Doesn't even approach them, really.
Yeah, it doesn't approach them. And so if you ask out one girl a week, all right, you're probably at least increasing it fivefold, if not tenfold, and then that calculates through. And if you're asking out, and I would argue, tell you that as an actuary, so that is the number 2 thing you can do. And if you do those 2 things, you can actually dramatically increase your, you can exponentially increase your chances to the point there's a pretty things you can do. And then I would say, from more of an artistic human point of view, is you have some kind of creativity.
He worked for the feds.
I'm not gonna.
That's pretty damn impressive.
I'm not gonna lie, but
what?
I'm black and
the brother Samba.
Believe it or not, salsa dancing was not created by white men.
No. Very same website. Why aren't guys approaching anymore? Bitch, because you're trying to get dudes arrested. They launched.
So here we go with Donovan Sharpe giving excuses for men. Now, I get it. We're on code. We're supposed to be supporting men always, right? But here's my way of supporting men, okay? My way of supporting you as a man is to not tell you lies. It's not pander to you. It's to not make you feel good about this moment, about your misery right now, okay? My way of supporting you is to tell you the truth, right? Not my truth, because there's a lot of people saying that too, and they just mean their own truth, right? As in like the truth about life, which is, hey, you do have to, there's principles to dating. You do have to approach enough women in order to create more opportunities for yourself, okay? And yes, you do live in a social construct where women seem to have more options, but it's just it's a social construct, it's an illusion, okay? When you see a woman hitting the wall and beyond the wall and they're having a hard time having a husband, so clearly that was an illusion. The idea that they have options or more options, right? So I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, let's hear the lies first, okay? Lies, not because he's telling lies. Again, he's speaking his own truth. He has the right to his own truth. But I'm going to tell you, have some context to it, and then hopefully, as gentlemen, we can come together. I don't mean to be condescending. I'm just trying to tell us there's more context to it, okay?
They launched an undercover investigation in Britain. I actually saw this article last week. They hired a bunch of undercover, like attractive undercover women cops to just go out and live their day. And when men try to approach them, they are arresting men for catcalling.
So when men try to approach women, they are being arrested for catcalling. Has that ever happened before? Are there exceptions? where that happened, yes. Bad things happen to good people sometimes in life. Every man should know that. That doesn't make it okay. However, that has gone outside of the context of this conversation. If we say you need to approach more people, right, before you can create more opportunities to get to know more ladies, why are we getting this as a pushback? See, I would expect, I'm not going to say that, okay? But why are we getting this as a pushback? Men get arrested when they catcall. Catcall is not the same thing as approaching women, okay? There's a way you approach a woman that makes her feel good about being approached, right? There's a way you approach a woman that even if she wants to say no to you, she still doesn't feel threatened by your presence, right? So while we're talking about you getting arrested when you catcall, catcall is not, is catcall, I mean, please help me in the comment area. Is catcall the same thing as approaching a woman? Interesting.
Oh,
What country? Wait, what country?
Great Britain.
What's it called? Undercover catcall?
Wow.
They undercover women cops go out into the world, and when someone tries to catcall them, they place them under
It's an
arrest for
arrestable.
I mean, I've heard situations where, places where prostitutes would typically parade, undercover women may go there to trap men. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about approaching women, like just normal women in the grocery. Like, hello, I find that you're a very attractive woman. Can I get to know you? Can I get your number? Right? I don't even suggest that. Hi, what's your name? You can start very simply like that, right? It's nobody that's arresting you for saying what's your name. Okay? I have other videos on this platform on how to approach women. Okay? You could just Google man of prestige approaching a girl, right? But again, nobody's gonna arrest you for saying what's your name. So I'm not sure where this pushback is coming from, but I guess it's entertaining.
Yes. And so when women are like, why aren't men approaching women? Because they're not trying to go the fuck to jail over some pussy that they're not gonna get anyway.
Yo, you know what else
Fuck
they
outta
do?
here.
They just outlawed dick pics on Instagram as
Yeah.
well in Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Yo, yeah,
Are you
you
serious?
guys got to get out of the UK, bro. It's
Yo,
it's
I'm
not
trying to
looking
tell
good for
you.
y'all. If you send a dick pic in Great,
Increasing
why
it
is
fivefold, if not tenfold, and then that calculates through.
why is dick pic coming into this conversation though? Right? Isn't that interesting, right? That they brought we go from you should approach more girls to they banned people from sending dick pics in IG. Do you see what I'm saying here? Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I made an argument, right? And they gave me a lot of flack for this. They said, yo, Fresh, why do you say to send 100 DMs on Instagram? It's not the real task itself. It's just the numbers game, right? So I'm just saying, look, social media is a new avenue for guys now because you build up a brand for yourself online.
Yeah.
I can send 100 DMs. Out of 100, I might get 10. But guess what? I just source from my bedroom.
Boom.
It's done.
That would be a great
And no
discussion
risk of
because
arrest.
I'm with him.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that until we start to. The only thing that's wrong with that is the only thing that's wrong with having your son playing video games in the house all the way from ages 3 till they are 22, and then you find out that they have zero social skills because they haven't really interacted much with other human beings, right? That's the only thing that would be wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with using the tools at your disposal, right, to source or to get leads of women to potentially date. There's nothing wrong with that. But like everything in life is a double-edged sword. It can work against you. If you don't get out in the streets and get to know people, handshake people, talk to people face to face, not only are you reducing your chances of authentic relationship, a better authentic relationship based on studies yet still, but you are also decreasing your social skills because life is always moving. See, you don't want to become another person complaining that women are not the same as women from 1960s. You don't want to be that person because that person is lame as fuck. It sounds stupid to the outside world, at least, right? So
Him like I'm old, but I came up in when we created the internet era.
Yes, sir.
So I'm with him. I could walk if I would go in the club and I try to talk to one woman. She turned me down. I left. I don't want to be in the club no more. Getting turned down hurt my feelings.
well, that's the club. The club is a terrible place to learn how to approach women too. You can learn some skills in the club. There are ways to approach women in the club. There are actually skill set around that too. But the club and social media create a false sense of.
But when I'm at home with some peanut butter and my drawers.
Peanut butter.
Oh my God!
What? I can't understand why you can't get the women. Come on to my place. Let's have some peanut butter.
I've got some peanut butter right here in my drawers and my laptop.
Yeah.
3 favorite things, brother. I sent out about 1,000 messages. I just need 10.
All you need is 10.
All I need is 10.
And you know the funny part about this is that like guys are like, oh, I want to go out there and cold push. You can, but is that worth your time?
I don't want to pay for the club. I don't want to pay for them drinks. I don't want other people to see me get turned down. Because if a girl see you get turned down, women are followers, are they not? You walk up to a girl.
I personally think the best way to meet women is about your own way, about your purpose. If you're a college kid, meet people in the college. If you're a person that's already working professionally, you meet people at work. Go to your company conference, go to your professional conferences, and meet people. You don't have to pay a dime outside of the money you're paying to develop yourself as an individual. That's my personal belief, okay? And I think it's best. In terms of the idea of actively, maybe you're looking for lay count. You're looking to get your 1,500 lay count. That's a different problem that you have all entirely. I don't know why that would be a goal, but I get it. You know, maybe you have a guru that's been preaching to you that you become a better man by having 1,500 lay counts. But usually that works in the opposite direction. But let's keep going.
Get turned down.
That
the
first
rest
at
of them
bat is
saw.
crucial.
Gone.
That's right.
Gone.
Listen, you better single that first at batter. You're not
right
going to
there.
be on that circle.
I'll tell you this. You guys want to know how strong the programming is with women? There's TikToks out there where a woman will go through her man's Instagram and she'll see him getting turned down by other women on DMs.
Yeah. So they're getting a little deeper there into. Let's go through this.
For more. It's 6 figures, reasonably good looking. This thing,
Aaron, you're hot. You're hot, dude.
Thank you. Thank you
Just
very
call it what it
much.
is.
Yeah.
No,
buddy.
I'm somewhere in between all of this right here because
Okay.
I understand what you're saying as far as initiating. You have to be able to go out and actually once.
Of course, Rollo is somewhere in between. You see, smart guy. He cannot be on any extreme because that's not how life works. Anybody that's on the extreme of either ends, either you're overly simping or you're overly, what should I call it? Simping. Both ends are both simps. If you're extreme asshole, you're a simp. If you're extreme pandering to women, you're a simp. Okay, that's the way it works. And of course, he was going to bring some kind of balance to the conversation.
Once you get to the point of having a date, you actually have to be interesting and understand like social skills to get, to actually be on a date with a woman. Okay. But getting to that point is brand management. And that's really where we've been for the last like 15, really since 2000, since the rise of social media. Dating, like a lot of other things, has become an issue of brand management. And if you go and you look at the stats once again, and you look at how.
But that makes sense. People are going to look at your profile and judge your ass before they get to know you. They're going to judge the book by the cover. Unfair? Yeah, that's reality. That's life. Especially for you as a man, right?
Couples met from all the way back in like say the 80s all the way up to where we are right now.
Yeah.
If you look at that one greatest spike, it's people meeting online, whether that's on Tinder or through seeking arrangement.
I mean, that's just the reality about life right now. We have to embrace the idea of people meeting online on social media. It is what it is. However, I think you do yourself a favor when you learn the downsides of that. It gives you a false sense of abundance of options. Okay, so you have to be aware of that, because if you're not aware of that, that can work against you.
Or through
Twitter,
Facebook, Cupid, whatever
Friend
it is.
Finder,
Name what it.
And of course, that's killing social skills, like we said earlier, right?
Name it, yeah, exactly. Name it, and that's how couples are meeting. And what's falling off the face of the earth right now is women meeting you in school, in church, through family and friends.
Yep.
That's because it's being
everything
outlawed
else is
now.
just dropping off a cliff right now, because that's the easy. It's what I call, and I wrote about this back in 2013. It's a buffer. It's a buffer against rejection. You're like, oh well, if I just go behind, if I'm right here and I'm behind my screen all the time, then it doesn't.
The buffer against rejection is not a good thing. It's not a good thing, right? As we're finding out, at least in the short term, it's not. Maybe in the long term, maybe we will build a new social construct and it will become normalized, that you don't need social skills. But right now you do. You do, you know? So that's why you have a problem with dating, you know? That's it, right there. The social skills problem. People have abundance, swipe left about 1,000 times per day, but then that's killing social skills.
Hurt is bad.
It doesn't
Hey,
hurt
Tommy
so
just
bad
admitted
when
it.
I
Yeah.
So I recognize that, and I also recognize that Instagram is the #1 dating app in the world.
said it.
Really.
We know it. Don't
so
you
that
know
people
it?
because the people like if a woman see it's no longer like getting a phone number anymore. It's
Let me get your
follow me on
IG. Yep.
Instagram and let
Yeah.
me see if you're cool enough for me to go and hang out with you. And so now you've got to curate your own gallery of pictures.
Yep.
So for the chick, just here's the Lambo, here's the yacht, here's this, here's that, here's the I got a job, whatever it is, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you've got to be able to. You're selling yourself. You are your own brand in whether you're podcasting or whether you are trying.
I think it's
cop-out, for
I agree
sure.
with Donovan. I think it's a cop out. It's just that women have historically in the West have always kind of looked at Asian guys with like negative stereotypes.
Except
they're
for Kim
nerds,
Jong.
They're good at school. They're
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the stereotype with the Asian guys, Indian guys, and stuff like they did touch on it. I thought it was an interesting part of the conversation. So if you want to see more about that, I will link it in the bottom so you can go watch the original video, just to give them the credit as well. Let's see here.
As well, you got the money.
yeah. Asian men actually earn the most in
Yeah.
the United
Well,
States.
that's why I was about to go with that because I
think-
talk about that and used to make black women mad. That's my specialty,
no.
making black women mad.
Yeah,
but,
yes,
I,
it
want-
is.
but I want
That's
to
a
give a
fact.
stat, and it was the stat that used to piss them off. I said, black women are at the bottom of dating.
Yes.
This is
They're
true.
at the bottom.
It's a
Yet
fact.
they are very available to everybody else. They will get with them if they ask. They try to tell that lie that we love our men. No, you don't. You love scandal. We watch y'all watch it. So shut up.
Yes. Right.
Empire.
Wow.
But what happens is black men are the anomaly. Meaning, yes, people like somebody with money and power. Well, black men own very little in the world. They own very little, like at the bottom.
Right.
Yet they're the number 2 picked man.
That's right.
And that is the thing that makes black women pissed at black men because black men can get chosen even though they don't have all of this, possession.
But wait. He's saying some things there, but then he linked it with that's why they hate black men. Oh man, where are we going with this
And
conversation?
shit. They still get picked and they don't understand that because they say, well, we have the same sexual what is that thing? They have the same
Sexual market value?
Yeah, but they keep forgetting.
You guys see
When
the
I'm-
inside of a gym every once in a while? or
Well,
what?
we look like I have people who still say, I see Tommy working out. This is slave jeans. Tell them. It's slave jeans.
Look, listen, we laugh and we chuckle, but he's right.
No, he's right.
Listen. Genetically, black men have an advantage.
Yes.
Dude, 77% of players in the NBA are black. 76% of the players in the NFL are black. Baseball, only 8% of all baseball players of all time, 8% are black. 4 of the
told
top
you.
6 home run hitters of all time, African American.
Good men, then men should be able to be with more than one woman and they wouldn't argue. Women say this stuff to act like they're altruistic, but they're not.
No.
Because when it comes to them getting something, they're very selfish with it, and they don't want anybody else to have it, to the point of where women get mad if they wear a dress and another girl wears the same
same
dress
dress.
they
last night. It
wore.
happened last night.
That's true.
So women
I've literally seen that happen. And if you see, for us men, right, if you wear the same clothes, like nice choice, right? It's not a big deal. But women, yeah, I've seen that physically before. It doesn't work well.
Women just say things out in public. That's why I said they're like kids that you can't beat and you can't put them in a corner. That's all they are. Because they say things they don't want. Watch what
Well,
children
they're
do.
not kids,
Children will
so-
tell you, I want to do this, I want to do that. Tell them they can do it and then they won't do it. They're just saying it because they want to push the boundaries. Women are constantly pushing the boundaries. They want to be able to work and do all that stuff. And then they say, well, what happened to chivalry? And I say, well, feminism killed it.
Yes, sir.
You cannot ask for them both. They would look at a man and say, well, if you want to
Well, they can
or
ask
ladies
for
and
them
sex
both.
workers.
Not only can they ask for them both, you also don't have to satisfy all of it both at the same time, but yes, women would ask to have and eat their cake at the same time, but men do that as well. But we're talking about women, right? Women do that, okay, and they can do it from a very selfish place too. It is what it is, but it's about how do you respond to that, right? It's about how do you respond to that. If you're responding to that with you're just pissed off and you're mad, that doesn't work out well for you in the long term.
Sex worker.
Damn.
And
They call this scripping, and then scripping.
God damn.
So I went to all of them. I said, what is value? And they do offer value. So what do you offer that's of value? How did you make your money? Entertainment, creativity.
Oh,
No,
stop.
bitch, it's sex.
Thank
Yeah.
It's fucking
Yes.
sex. That's it. There's nothing shameful. There's nothing wrong about
But sex serves what purpose to whoever they're serving with that? Isn't that entertaining?
it, but for fuck's sake, will you please fucking admit
Acknowledge
it?
it.
And they won't. And I shouldn't have even gotten that frustrated because I'm like, I got it. It's the perfect mental state.
See, that's all part of the social skills things that I talked about. I'm not talking about this gentleman right here, but that's all part of social skills. The idea that something is sugar coated a different way, that's all part of social skills. Again, if you stop fighting it and you embrace it and you learn how it works, you will get more of the results you're looking for. And if you keep fighting it, you will basically not get the result you're looking for because you're dealing with human beings. They're social and emotional beings first. Okay? Not that logic nonsense that you're asking for.
I want to make money whoring around or stripping, and that's fine. But I don't want to feel bad about it.
Oh,
Well, why won't you
Don't judge
acknowledge
but
me.
this,
you
though?
are.
Don't judge me.
Why don't you acknowledge this though? Again, I'm gonna piss women off.
do it.
Women are natural born liars, and we cannot blame them for being that.
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing. That's terrible to say. Here's why that's terrible to say. I'll explain why. If you feel that women are naturally born liars, right? Tell me how a 21-year-old is not gonna go back to his girlfriend and say you're a liar, especially when he's been playing games since he was 3 years old in the bedroom. Meaning he lacks social skills, right? Listen, we like to say, oh, we're not stupid and all this kind of stuff, but listen, I'm hearing enough and enough and enough and enough, and you're gonna have to prove to me that you're not stupid, okay? So no, I don't think women are just liars. I think the way they present what they have to say, the way they express themselves, will be far from what you may deem as logical and factual, right? Maybe they are actively trying to present information or scenarios in a way that is easy for you to land on you, right? Maybe you've also shown that you have zero tolerance. If you tell a woman to say, tell me what it is, it's sex, bitch, not entertainment, right? If you say that one or two or three times, the next time you're talking to her, she's going to sugarcoat things so she doesn't get that kind of energy from you again, right? Men will do that too, right? Don't we? We avoid rejection. I mean, Tommy Sotomayor said that earlier. I don't like rejections when I put women in the club, so I'm feeling sub and I go home after one approach, right? So we're all the same. We're different in a lot of ways, but we're the same in so many ways too that we're not willing to admit.
Make you less angry. This is why Margaret Show ain't funny. I know that. But there will be 1,000 or 1,000,000 women that will try to explain to you that fat Asian girl is funny somehow.
Dude, I just had an epiphany. This is why
I didn't know
so-
you like black girls.
No. And Castle.
Wow. Right. So they had a scandal a few weeks ago about them not liking black girls.
Journalism, yeah.
This
Those
is why
white
when these
people,
little
huh?
This is
You
why
know?
when these little snot-nosed kids come after guys like Rollo and this guy is wrong, like fam, you're just out of diapers. The point is to be able to create something like this. It takes seasoning, experience.
I mean, Donovan Sharpe is very consistent with his shaming and insulting. He just called somebody. I know exactly what he's talking about. It's not the first time he will say that. A snot nose, meaning they snot cocaine, right? So But let's keep
Dude,
hearing.
failure, success.
But you have to be open too. They're
Yes,
open.
you have to
They're
be.
not having a show and saying, I'm worried about some other guy coming in.
Right.
Maybe taking over or
Hell no.
showing us up.
Right.
They're the first one. The motherfuckers was like, nah, we'll make you a mod and you put your information in
That's
there.
right.
I've been places where they don't want you to put your stuff.
Yeah, all the
Because
glory. Yeah.
They want all the glory.
And I said, and that's when I said,
That's not what it's about,
those
man.
dudes cool. Now I just want to ask y'all too though.
Yeah.
Do y'all feel right now like Isaiah Rashad with all this in-person fellatio that y'all getting from these dudes?
Oh Lord! So that when you watch that video later on, you can count on Tommy making it lightheaded and throwing jokes there here. And there.
Journalism. Yeah.
This
Those
is why
white
when these
people,
little
huh?
this is
You
why
know?
when these little snot-nosed kids come after guys like Rollo and this guy is wrong, like fam, you're just out of diapers. The point is to be able to create something like this. It takes seasoning, experience, dude, failure, success.
But you have to be open too. They're
Yes,
open.
you
They're
have
not.
to
They're
be.
not having a show and saying, I'm worried about some.
No, but some people are stuck. Some people are stuck in their worst case scenario, worst terrible experiences, right? And they can't find themselves speaking or seeing the good in situations, right? There's some of us that we tend to see the good in every situation. There's some of us like that. And there are some of us that we just see the bad. We just see red every time we look at women, right? Not me personally, but there's some of us that we like to see things as half glass full, while other people like to see it as half glass empty. Guess who the best place where you want to be? It's not in quote unquote reality. Let's just be realistic. No, it's not. It's about seeing the best in a lot of situations. Okay, because a lot of time it's gonna be nuances, and it's never like a straightforward, cutthroat situation in real life. Not especially when you're dealing with women.
Detractors use those guys to come after us. They never go after the guys that are up to the fuck shit. They come after us. Well, this red pill minister, they're misogynist. We talk about not hating women all the time, guys. We tell you, hey, man, don't hate women. They are what they are, what they are. But anytime somebody does a hit piece on those crazed red pill manosphere guys, they don't talk about things we specifically say, or they take what you
Rollo
say completely out
Tomassi
of-
zombies.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah, I'm glad that he said that they teach not hating women, okay? But those are not the most viral moments, okay? So it is what it is. We have to accept that the most viral moments is anything that remotely sound like you are asking people to hate women, or like you hate women, right?
cult leader. Yeah, fuck those guys.
And
Fuck
You get that whole cult leader shit?
Since day one, man.
Yeah.
Man, y'all know
I
that's
wanna
David
say this
Koresh,
too.
man.
The minute I published.
It's funny that they say that about Rollo, because what they don't understand, and Rollo talks about this in the Rational Mail, go get his book. The RP isn't so that you hate women. It's so that you
won't hate women for what they cannot be to you.
That's right, man. Listen, I've
Where'd
never
you find
sorry
this?
about that. I've never hated women, but I had always had sort of a low.
But you have to explain why you don't hate women. Why is it that Donovan Sharpe, the only guy in that room who seems to be this way, I'm yet to listen to him long enough. Maybe that's why. But the little things I've heard so far, why is it that it's consistent? It's consistent, and he has to mansplain himself right now on why he doesn't hate women. I think something is consistent there,
level resentment of them. More specifically with my own mother. Like I had a deep
Oh,
this in
there
the
we
Rational
go.
Mail, go get
so
his
now,
book.
if women goes and say, "Hey, we'll hurt you," we're taking offense to that. But watch what's about to happen.
The RP isn't so that you hate women. It's so that you
won't hate women for what they cannot be to you.
That's right, man. Listen,
Damn, son,
I've
where'd
never
you find
sorry
this?
about that. I've never hated women, but I had always had sort of a low level resentment of them. More specifically with my own mother. Like I had a deep level of resentment for her for a while because she's
Wait. He's not consistent. He just said, "I've always had a low level of resentment." Then he says he has a deep resentment for the mother. Okay, I guess the mother is different from all the other women. All right.
she did some fucked up
Something
shit.
we can't say.
Well, you know
And
how
when you're
that
black,
goes.
you can't say this.
No, you can't. But I could only really come to forgive my mother for what she put us through when we were kids when I found this community, because my mother is still a woman, and as a woman, she is going to be susceptible to the same things that women are today, which is their very nature. Women today are women. They're their default is to self-destruct. This is why women need men to guide them.
Agreed.
A woman without a man is a woman without direction. Anything a woman has complete control over goes completely to shit. Single mothers, just like you said, their daughters either they end up on the pole, or their sons switch hit, or they're in prison and maybe switch hitting as well. So their children, the dating market, women are in complete control of the dating market. The dating market is a shit show. This is why women need men. Does this mean that women are stupid? No. It just means that a woman's forte is not exactly leadership and control. This is why women need men. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
But men need women too, and that's what we do need to say sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need them for the stuff that they bring. Like
Yes, like
I
life.
was always told, I said a man builds a house, but a woman makes it a
Oh, yeah, right.
This is why I appreciated the conversation. You have him say whatever he just said, which naturally I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's not making sense. But we have a scene where Tommy Sotomayor is in the room and say, hey, slow your roll, okay? So,
And I listened to you earlier. Shouts out to
sexist.
you
How
earlier.
dare
It was an
you.
awesome show.
Yeah, thank
because
you.
I was listening to you and I was like, okay, this is a nigga that got his shit together.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is, us as black men, we don't get to see a man that has his stuff together and is just saying, I'm a man and this is how I
That's
do
right.
it.
Right.
You white guys,
Yes.
y'all get to see a guy who you can look at and say, okay, well, he got his shit together.
Yeah,
Right.
Fred McMurray on television. Yeah, don't worry,
Jimmy the
catching up in the
Great, come
divorce
on.
and broken home Olympics. Yeah.
But do you understand? That's why I say I describe black men as the canary in the coal mine.
Oh, you're dead right about that.
Yeah.
You big ass social
And that's why
experiment,
the most heat we catch are from our own people.
Right.
10 times out of 10.
I'd
That's
love
a
to
shame.
hear you say that, because I, as a black man, said to black people, but I'm
Will
when
you
agree
tell
that
him
you're
what
saying,
book I wrote? Do you?
yeah, so it's just a lot going on in that conversation. My overall take on it is this. This is my overall take on it. My overall take is that it was kudos to them for bringing those gentlemen together to have that conversation. I was able to hear a lot more about where their mind is, the extremes that they preach. I appreciate Rollo Tomassi's presence there. I think Rollo sometimes overdoes his support for Fresh and Fit. I thought so, until this session, and then I noticed that he had a way of dealing with them. And older men need to have that. We need to have a way of relating with the younger generation. The OGs need to have a way of relating with them without coming off as they don't know what they're talking about. And I think he does a great job at that. So he's maintained a certain level of loyalty with them too. I can respect that too. Loyalty, to me, trumps the idea that you have to be right all the time. So just do the right thing. Stop being loyal. I don't agree with that. I think loyalty trumps that. If you have allies, and as a man at least, if you have allies. If it means you have to shut up, maybe it's too much of issue you want to involve yourself, then just shut up, So I can respect that. With that being said, I think the Fresh and Fit kids themselves, I think they are growing. I think they are forced to grow very fast because of the massive success that they've achieved in a short period of time. And that's not always a great place to be. I've been there, where you grow way too fast and you just crash and burn, and you're not prepared for that. But I think they're handling it well. I think they're going to be fine. I think they should do more of this kind of conversations. I agree that not everyone is going to be able to do what they do. It's not as simple as bringing women into a studio just to talk. There's a lot of hard work that goes into putting the kind of podcast they've put together. So there's a lot. As content creator, I would learn from them. That's a fact, But for them, there's a lot that they obviously need to keep learning when it comes to social skills, emotional intelligence. The one thing that I don't like about Rollo Tomassi is him consistently discounting emotions by calling everything that doesn't fit his persona as emotionalism. I think emotionalism are emotionalism for a reason, and I think instead of discounting it, I think we can engage it, right, and see why that person is emotionalizing the situation. I think he knows how to do that because he's married for 25 years. I think he needs to teach more of that. I think he shouldn't disengage completely from teaching young men more of how to handle anything that comes off as emotionalism, because what's happening is that people say that's emotionalism and then they shut the person down. That's what's going on, So I know he can't catch everyone, but but nonetheless, I really appreciated I appreciate those gentlemen in that conversation, and I really feel like we can continue to have these conversations too. We're going to get back to some of the favorite topics on this platform very soon. We're going to continue the conversations around African foundational Black American relationships, some social justice stuff, more importantly, games, social skills, and stuff like that. We're going to be getting back to some of those. There's a topic that I feel like we need to cover again here, more from a live. Then we're also going to share some case studies, live, real life stories, and things like that. So hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Let's see here. Let's just make sure. All right. So if you're watching me for the first time, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. I need your help to continue to build the platform. I can't do this without you. Please correct me if I say anything wrong. I want to receive from you. Please hide your comment, bring smoke, all of that. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.